Opendoor stock just delivered one of the biggest announcements in its history, and for anyone who's been following this story, it feels like the moment we've been waiting for. The company has named Kaz Nejatian, the Chief Operating Officer of Shopify, as its new CEO. At the same time, co-founders Rabois and Eric Wu are rejoining the board, with Rabois taking on the role of chairman. And to top it all off, Khosla Ventures and Wu are investing $40 million in PIPE financing to accelerate the company's growth. This isn't just a management shuffle. This is a transformation moment. This is a reset. This is the company putting founder DNA back at the center of the strategy and bringing in an AI-native leader to drive the next phase of growth. And if you've been following the thesis that activist investor Eric Jackson has been shouting from the rooftops, the thesis that Opendoor could become the Amazon of real estate, that it's not a meme stock but a cult stock, that it's a company in transition, then today's news is pure validation. Let's break down why this matters and why it could be the spark that takes Opendoor into its next chapter. First, Kaz Nejatian. This is not just another executive appointment. Kaz comes to Opendoor after serving as the Chief Operating Officer at Shopify, one of the most important commerce platforms in the world. At Shopify, he wasn't just a figurehead. He was known as an exceptional operator, someone who could transform teams, cut unnecessary expenses, drive profitability, and scale products to hundreds of millions of users. He has a reputation for speed of execution, for innovation, and most importantly, for being an AI-native leader. That last point is huge. Opendoor's future isn't just about buying and selling homes the old-fashioned way. It's about using AI to simplify, accelerate, and reshape the entire transaction process. As Rabois himself said in the announcement, Kaz has a founder's brain and a deep understanding of how AI can radically transform operations. That's exactly what Opendoor needs right now. Someone who doesn't just talk about AI, but lives and breathes it, and knows how to integrate it into the DNA of a business. Think about the timing. AI is reshaping every industry: finance, healthcare, retail, logistics. Real estate is next. And Opendoor is sitting on a goldmine of data from years of transactions, valuations, and housing market activity. Putting an AI operator like Kaz at the helm is like giving Tesla a battery breakthrough. It unlocks the potential to take that raw data and turn it into a competitive moat. This is about making Opendoor the AI-powered platform for real estate, the one place where you can buy or sell a home as easily as you buy something on Amazon. Now let's talk about Rabois. For weeks now, Eric Jackson and the Open Army have been calling for Rabois to come back. The Bring Rabois Back campaign has been relentless, and today, it's reality. Rabois isn't just rejoining the board, he's coming back as chairman. That matters because it puts one of the most respected operators and investors in Silicon Valley back in the driver's seat. Rabois co-founded Opendoor in 2013. He knows the mission. He believes in the mission. And he has the track record to help deliver it. Let's not forget who Rabois is. He's been behind some of the biggest success stories in tech: Stripe, DoorDash, Affirm, Faire, Airbnb, Palantir. He's consistently ranked on the Forbes Midas list as one of the top venture capitalists in the world. This is not a guy who attaches his name to something unless he believes in it. And now, he's back at Opendoor, not just in spirit but in an official leadership capacity. For investors, that's a credibility bombshell. It tells the market that Opendoor isn't stumbling around trying to find its footing. It's recommitting to its founder vision, with the person who helped create that vision steering the board. And then there's Eric Wu. Wu co-founded Opendoor, served as its CEO for nearly a decade, and helped guide it through its earliest stages of growth. He's now back on the board as well, bringing additional founder DNA into the mix. Wu has also put real money behind his conviction, teaming up with Khosla Ventures to invest $40 million in the company through a PIPE financing. Think about what that means. The people who know this company best, the people who built it from scratch, are not only rejoining the leadership team but also investing their own capital to fuel its growth. That's not lip service. That's conviction. And if you're short this stock, that should send chills down your spine. Because it's one thing to bet against a company when leadership is uncertain and direction is unclear. It's another thing entirely to bet against a company that has a brand new AI-native CEO from Shopify, two of its founders back on the board, one of them as chairman, and $40 million in fresh capital from insiders. That's not a company in decline. That's a company in rebirth. Now let's connect the dots to Eric Jackson's thesis. For weeks, Jackson has been hammering the point that Opendoor is not a meme stock, but a cult stock. That it's a movement fueled by conviction, by belief, and by a long-term vision of transformation. He's argued that the company needs stronger leadership, that it needs to embrace its founder DNA, and that it has the potential to become the Amazon of real estate. Today's announcement is exactly what he's been calling for. It's almost as if the board was reading from his playbook. Jackson has also emphasized that the path forward is about more than just chasing a short squeeze. Yes, short interest remains high, around 24% of the float, or roughly 155 million shares. That's fuel waiting to ignite. But the real story isn't the squeeze. The real story is the reinvention. The transformation of Opendoor into an AI-powered platform for real estate. And today's news is the clearest signal yet that this transformation is happening. With Kaz at the helm, Rabois as chairman, Wu back on the board, and fresh capital in the bank, the pieces are in place. This is exactly what Jackson has been talking about, aligning leadership, vision, and resources to unlock the potential of Opendoor's unique assets. And if you believe in his thesis, today is a validation moment. Let's also not overlook the symbolic value here. The Open Army has been relentless in pushing for change. Eric Jackson has been standing outside Drake's house for 22 days straight. He's been on Fox News. He's been campaigning on social media. And now, the board has responded with the biggest leadership overhaul in years. That's not just a win for Jackson. That's a win for retail investors everywhere. It proves that activism works. It proves that the voices of retail matter. And it proves that when conviction meets persistence, change can happen. So what does this mean for the stock going forward? In the short term, it's about sentiment. News like this tends to lift morale, attract fresh buyers, and put shorts on edge. With nearly a quarter of the float still shorted, the risk of a squeeze just went up. In the medium term, it's about execution. Investors will be watching Kaz closely to see how quickly he puts his stamp on the company, how he leverages AI, and how he drives operating leverage. And in the long term, it's about transformation. With founder DNA restored and an AI-native CEO in place, the long-term bull case for Opendoor has never looked stronger. For me personally, this news reinforces why I've been adding on dips and holding through volatility. Because the long-term story is intact. In fact, it's stronger than ever. And while the daily price may swing, the trajectory is pointing upward. To wrap it up, Opendoor has a new CEO, Kaz Nejatian, bringing AI-native leadership and Shopify-level experience. Co-founders Keith Rabois and Eric Wu are back on the board, with Rabois stepping in as chairman. $40 million in fresh insider investment adds fuel to the fire. This is founder DNA, fresh capital, and AI leadership all rolled into one. And it's exactly what Eric Jackson and the Open Army have been fighting for. If you're long, this is the validation moment. If you're short, this is the nightmare scenario. And if you're on the sidelines, you have to ask yourself, how many more signals do you need before you recognize that this company is transforming right before our eyes? Opendoor is no longer just holding the line at $6. It's laying the foundation for something much bigger. With Kaz at the helm and the founders back in the room, the future of real estate just got a whole lot more exciting. And for the Open Army, today's news isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new chapter.